Hey y'all, Jennifer here from JS Creations Art Sanity, and today I'm going to show you how I made this super cute small plushie frog. So let's jump in and get started. Your supplies. You will need, I'm using the Bernat Blanket Yarn. You'll need a color for the body and then a color for his tummy. So I'm just using this pale green teal color that I had and this like creamy off-white. And then you'll need a small amount of black for the mouth. For his eyes, I'm using the safety eyes. I am out of the black ones, so these are brown. I'll be using those today. They are 12 millimeters, and I got them from Hobby Lobby. I'm also using a 6 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need a pair of scissors, yarn needle, and a stitch marker. And you'll need some fiber fill to stuff the body. So let's jump in and get started. Okay, so we're going to start with a magic circle. So I do that by draping my yarn over my fingers here, coming around, crossing, grabbing the first, or putting my hook under the first loop here, grabbing the second one, pulling through, twisting as I'm coming through, grabbing that working yarn, pull through, and there's my magic circle. Okay, so into this magic circle, and that's kind of like a chain one we just did. But into this magic circle, we're going to put 8 single crochet. So we're going to take our hook, go through the circle, pull up a loop, grab our yarn and pull through. There's our first single crochet. So we're going to make 7 more of those all the way around. Go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, there's our 8 single crochet. We're going to close it up, just pull that little tail. Okay, now we're going to work in the round. So we're going to go into this first, and it's kind of hard to see on this bulky yarn, but here is our first single crochet that we made. We're going to go into the top of that. Okay, I'm going to work over my tail on a couple of stitches. So we're going to put 1 single crochet in there. We're going to use our stitch marker and mark that stitch. And we're going to put another single crochet in that same stitch. So we're doing 2 single crochets in each single crochet around. So move on to the next single crochet, and we're going to put 2 single crochets in there. So there's 1 and there's 2. Okay, and we're going to do that all the way around. So 2 single crochet in each single crochet around, and you should have 16 single crochet when you get back to the beginning. I'm back to the beginning. Now for our third row here, we're going to take the stitch marker out, and in that spot we're going to put 1 single crochet, and then put our stitch marker back. Into the next single crochet, we're going to put 2 single crochet. So this is an increase round, so we're going to do the same thing. So in the next single crochet, we're going to do 1. Into the next single crochet, we're going to do 2. So that's your pattern all the way around. So we did 1 single crochet in the first single crochet, we did 2 single crochet in the next, 1 in the next, 2 in the next. So now you're going to do 1 and then 2, 1, 2, once all the way back around. And at the end of this round, you should have 24 single crochet. So I'll meet you back up around. Okay, I'm back to the beginning. Now for this next round, which is round 4, it's going to be another increase round. So where our stitch marker was in our first single crochet there, we're going to put 1 single crochet, put our stitch marker back. Into the next stitch, we're going to put 1 single crochet. Into the next, we're going to do 2 single crochet. Okay, so that is your pattern all the way around on this row. We did 1, 1, and then 2. So you're going to do 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. That pattern all the way back to the beginning, and that's where I'll meet you. And at the end of this round, you should have 32 single crochet. Okay, I'm back around to the beginning. Like I said, you should have 32 single crochet in that round. Now for this next round, which is round 5, we are just going to do 1 single crochet in each single crochet around. So there's no more increase, it's just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So again, you should have 32 single crochets when you get back to the beginning. Okay, I'm back to the beginning, and you can see it's starting to curve around, which is what we want. We're not going to worry about this tail because it's just going to be stuffed in there when we stuff it. But this is going to be the inside, so we're just going to kind of flip our crochet out. Okay? So now, for this next round, which is round 6, we're going to repeat the previous round. So again, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Again, you will have 32 single crochets when you get back to the beginning. Okay, back around to the beginning. Now we're going to move on to round 7. It's the same thing. We're going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Again, for a total of 32 single crochets when you get back to the beginning. Okay, we are now ready for round 8. This is going to be our first decrease round. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first single crochet, put our stitch marker back. Into the next single crochet, we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then in the next 2 single crochets. So this one here And this one here, we're going to do a decrease. So we're going to go into that first one there, pull up a loop, leave that on our hook, go to the next one, pull up a loop. So you have the 3 on your hook, grab your yarn and pull through all 3. So those 2 single crochets you now just made into one. Okay, and we're going to repeat that pattern. So for the next one, we're going to do 1 single crochet. The next one, 1 single crochet. And then here's our decrease. So the next 2, pull up a loop. The next one, pull up a loop. Pull through all 3. And that's your pattern all the way around. Okay, I'm almost back to the beginning. I've got 2 stitches left, which it should be end on my decrease there. And after that round, you should be back down to 24 single crochets. So for our next round, which is round 9, we're going to do another decrease. So into that first stitch there, we're going to do 1 single crochet, put our marker back, and then over the next 2, we're going to do a decrease. Into the next one, we're going to do 1 single crochet. Over the next 2, we're going to do a decrease. And that's your pattern all the way around. 1 single crochet, then a decrease. 1 single crochet, decrease. So go ahead and finish that, and I'll meet back up with you at the beginning. Okay, I'm just finishing up this round, and after the end of this round, which is round 9, you should be back down to 16 single crochet. So for round 10, we're going to do another decrease round, but they're going to be all decrease. So I just took my stitch marker out, and into the first 2 stitches, we're going to do a decrease. Put my stitch marker back, and then another decrease. So that's what we're doing for this round, is just decreases all the way around. And when you get back to the beginning, you should be back down to 8 single crochets. Or 8 decrease. Okay? So now I'm going to pull up a loop, get my stuffing, and stuff my body. So I've got some stuffing pulled out here. I have no idea how much I use. I just grab some and just start stuffing it in there, and I just keep going and working at it until I get it how I like it. But you want to make sure that you pulled up a big old loop so that you don't lose it or work any of your stitches out as you're stuffing your body here. take our stitch marker out. We don't need it right now. Into that first single crochet there, we're going to do a slip stitch. So just put your hook through there, grab your loop, and then just pull it on through. Okay? We're going to do that same thing into the next stitch. Just slip stitch and pull through. Okay, now we're going to cut our yarn, leaving a big tail. And I usually like circle my project a couple of times before snipping my tail or snipping my yarn. That way I know I'm going to have enough yarn to, in this instance, close my hole. I think it's always better to have too much of a tail than not enough. Okay, grab your yarn needle, and we're going to go through each of these stitches here and just kind of stitch and pull this hole closed. Okay, now what I'm going to do is tie my yarn there. So I went through a stitch there, and now I'm just going to make a knot here. Okay, and now just kind of weave in this tail back and forth a couple of times. Okay, that should be good. I'm just going to snip the rest of that off. Okay, so our body there is done. Now we're going to start on the eyes. Okay, so for our eyes, we are going to start with a magic circle again. And into this circle, we are going to do 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, close that up. And now again, working in the round into that first single crochet there, we're going to do 2 single crochet. So I'm going to make 1 and then put my stitch marker in, go back into that same spot and do another single crochet. Into the next one, we're going to do 2 single crochet, and that's our pattern. We're going to do 2 single crochet in each single crochet around for a total of 8 when we get back to our stitch marker. Okay, so now we're going to just make one single crochet in each stitch around. So when you get back to the beginning, you should have 8 single crochet. Okay, again, I'm not going to worry about that tail in there. We're just going to turn our crochet right side and stuff that tail down in there. Okay, so now I'm going to remove my stitch marker. I'm going to slip stitch in that stitch and slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay, I'm going to cut my yarn, leaving a long tail because that's what I'm going to use to sew this eye onto the body. Okay, so just leave a long little tail there. I'm going to pull my yarn through there. Okay, and now we're going to put on our safety eye. So just find a spot wherever you think looks good and poke that in there. Put the back on here. Okay, and you're gonna want to make another one of these. Okay, so that we've got 2. So go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you how to sew them onto the body. Okay, hopefully, I don't know, my camera shut off there, so I don't know what's going on. But I've got one eye already sewn on there. So all you do is just pick a spot and just start sewing it on there wherever you think. I mean, I don't count stitches or anything, I just eyeball it. If it looks good, it's good. So I just hold it on there, and I'm going to, it's going to be hard for you guys to see. I'm just going to pick up a stitch in my eyeball, pick up a stitch from the body, and just start sewing it all the way around. And I'm just going to do that. I go around a couple of times just to make sure that it is, the eyeball is secured onto the body. So I'm just going to keep doing this here until I get this on here, and then I'll meet back up with y'all and we'll work on the belly, on the tummy. Okay, once I think my eye is good and secure on there, I am going to make a knot. And then just kind of weave this tail kind of back and forth through the body a couple of times. And then just snip off the extra. So our eyes are on there. Now let's work on his tummy. So I'm going to grab my cream colored yarn here. We are going to start with a magic ring. And we're going to do 8 single crochet into this ring. Okay, we're going to close up the circle. And we're going to work in the round again. So in this first single crochet, we're going to do 2 single crochet. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 and then put my stitch marker in there. And then go back into that same spot and do 1 more. So that's our pattern for this round, is 2 single crochet in each single crochet around, so you should have 16 when you get back to the beginning. Okay, I'm back to the beginning. So this next round, which is round 3, we're going to do an increase. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first single crochet, put our stitch marker back. Into the next single crochet, we're going to do 2. Okay, and the next we're going to do 1, and the next we're going to do 2. So that is your pattern. 1, 2, 1, 2. Continue that till you get back around, and you should have a total of 24 single crochet. Okay, I'm back around to the beginning. So now we're going to just slip stitch into that first stitch, slip stitch into the second, and we're going to cut our yarn, leaving a long tail. Again, I like to kind of wrap my yarn around my project here a couple of times just to make sure that I'm going to have enough for when I sew it onto the body. Okay, and then go ahead and pull your yarn through that loop there. I'm not going to worry about my tail on this side because it's going to be stuffed in there and hidden when I sew it onto the body. Okay, so grab your body, your needle, and again, really no rhyme or reason. I don't count stitches or rows or anything. I just pretty much place it on here wherever I think is going to look good. Okay, and then just start sewing it on there. So for this one, I went in the don't know if you guys can see that. I went into the back loop on the tummy part and attached it to the body. And then you can see that. So I went through the back loop of this first stitch here, grabbed a stitch from the body, and then came up in the back loop on the next stitch. And that's how I'm going to attach this all the way around. Now, if you're having a hard time and like it keeps moving on you, you can use some stitch markers or safety pins to attach this part, the tummy, onto your body and then sew it around, and just remove your safety pins or whatever when you're done. That'll help hold it in place for you. So I'm just going to keep working this all the way around, and then I'll meet up with you when I get this sewn on. Okay, so again, to tie this off, I'm going to do the same thing that I've been doing. Once I get it sewn on there, I'm just going to grab a stitch here, make a knot, and then just kind of weave my end back and forth a couple of times and snip off the extra. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, now we're going to sew on his little mouth. So you need your black yarn, your needle. Okay. Determine about where you want his mouth. Okay, I think I'm going to go like right here. So I'm going to start here at the top of his head and kind of go in where I want his mouth. So about right there. Pull my yarn through, but I want to leave a tail up here at top, because this is how I'm going to tie it off. So that'll make sense here in a minute. So leave a long enough tail to where you can make a knot. Okay, so this is the start of my mouth here. I think I want it to come about right here. So I'm going to put my needle through there, and I want it to kind of like sit. I don't want it straight across. I want him to kind of smile. So I'm going to kind of hold my smile here in place, and I'm going to stick my needle in right here and come out just at the kind of the middle at the top of where my smile dips, and pull that through there. Okay. So kind of like that. So now my yarn, my tail here is kind of in the middle of my mouth. So to hold that smile in place, we're going to kind of stitch that right there. So I'm going to come right up underneath and put my needle through there, and then I'm going to go up here where I started and pull that through. Okay, so as you can see, it's kind of making a stitch right there to hold that little smile down in place, so we don't have just a straight line across. Hopefully that all makes sense. Okay, I like that. He's kind of cute. So now we're going to take these two pieces up here. We're going to tie a knot. Okay. And I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut some of this off here. And then I'm going to use my yarn needle and just kind of push these ends. Well, cut too much off. I'm going to go in that same spot because I don't want any black showing, and I'm just going to push these ends down into my frog body, kind of like so. Push it down in there so you can't see it. That. Okay. Clip these little bits off. Push those in there, hide that, and voila, there we go. So there is our frog. Super cute, pretty easy, doesn't take too long. Okay, and I have a lot of like scrappies left over from my tails. Now what you guys can do with those, because like I said, I always think it's better to have too much of a tail than not enough to sew with. So what you could do with those, if you don't have poly-fil to stuff your piece, I keep all of my extra little bits around. I have a little basket that I put them in. And you can use your extra bits to actually stuff your projects with. Just a little tip there. But that's it for this one. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of these. And until next time, see ya.